facilitator to our conversations and creativity. You just never know. But that's the exciting part about having this at our fingertips every day. Some days, like, I'll get on something, and whether it's in here or on the bus, and I get excited to finish the next line. When you can wake up pretty happy every day and do that, it's a lot easier to be creative.
And it's sunshine.
Well, thank you all. I'm Jake Owen. I appreciate you spending some time with me. But I want to thank PreSonus and everyone there for being so generous to not just myself, but every guy in my crew and band. With a setup like this in Studio One, anything's possible, and we're excited to see what happens.
Summer grass, velvet green. Walk out and dream the light. Blow a kiss to the dandelion. Everything's alright. Loud birds meow, loud bells ring out. We're alive and kicking. Summer's coming, we're chasing the sun. Shout about the feeling. Shout if you're believing. We said that we're dreamers. Summer's coming, we're chasing the sun.
My name is Paul Meany from Mute Math. We are at Gasa Gasa in New Orleans, Louisiana, and we're about to have night 2 of the Mute Math show, introducing Vitals.
It felt like yesterday we were meant to stay, living like nothing wrong could happen.
The tour's been fantastic. We're about a little over halfway through. We've broken through, we found our stride. We're having a good time, not breathing so heavy at the end of the night. The new PreSonus rig has stayed so much out of the way, I forget we even have it. The consistency has been wonderful. You know, I can speak only as the singer in the monitors. We've been able to dial in a perfect compression, which is really important for me, for the dynamics, from going falsetto to full voice. And in these little venues, compression can be tricky. And I feel like we found a great sweet spot. And night to night, I've been blown away at how consistent the monitoring has been.
I used to never feel like I do now. I used to never feel like I do now. I used to walk on air. I used to care. Had no fear, but then I used to never feel like I do now.
And we're having a blast, just one less thing to think about. We just do one little tweak during sound check, usually as the rooms change, and it's good. We never touch it during the show. It's been wonderful.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to PreSonus Live. I'm Justin Spence.
And I'm Chad Schoonmaker.
So, Chad, tell everybody out there in Internetville what it is that you do here at PreSonus.
Here at PreSonus, I manage all the social media. I'm the official social media coordinator.
What does that mean? You get paid to be on the internet?
Yeah, all the Facebook, all your
Excellent.
Facebook posts, all your Instagram posts, all your tweets, they all come to me and I facilitate
Okay,
and
so
coordinate them.
And so, like, you would blast stuff like this on the
Oh, for
web
sure,
as
yeah.
well. Okay, so that's very interesting. So, Chad, you're here for comedy relief or comedic relief, or I don't even know how to say that.
I'm just here for fun. You
You're
told
here
me
for
to be
fun.
here.
Yeah, yes, excellent. So we're talking about RML and ULT today, and we have a lot to cover because we have a bunch of special guests in the studio as well. So I'm going to give you a quick overview, and then we're going to check out some other things and get other people's perspective on the products that we're talking about.
Other people besides us.
Besides us, maybe some people who actually know what they're talking about. So RML is the new rack mixer. If you're not familiar with the RM32 and the RM16, we now have a version, I guess a Mark II, or the newest, latest, greatest version, the RML, which means it has line inputs on it now. This is something that people had actually been requesting or asking for. And what they wanted was a way to get outboard stuff in to the mixer without hitting an amp, which is something a lot of people would want specifically in the studio. And because we call it a studio live, we wanted it to do things that people needed to do in the studio. So on the RML 16 or the 32, the last 8 inputs, you'll notice actually have combo jacks, which means it has like a little 1/4-inch connection on the inside, and then they have the barrel connection, XLR connection as well. So
Like
they
a
call
combination.
It that's exactly
So
what
that's
they
where they
call
get it from.
I mean, they were, in R&D on that name for quite some time, but yeah. So the combo jack allows you to plug in a line level input, so you can record that into Studio One, and it makes it a much more versatile piece, or like a centerpiece for your studio. Cool. So you're able to interface with the computer and all that good stuff.
So would you consider this an interface or is it a mixer?
It's actually both. It has a 96 by 24 bit Firewire interface, so you can plug stuff into it and record it into Studio One or Capture. But it has a computer built into it, so it has built-in DSP, which allows it to act as a mixer. It's a mixer in a black box, just like the console is a mixer. It's the same thing in a black box, which is great because it's way more, if you notice, it's way more compact than having a big mixer to lug around. So that's kind of one of the cool things about the rack, is it's just compact and it does all of the same things. And if you need to be on the road, which most folks that use it are on the road, it's the perfect piece for that.
So you can use it on the road and in the studio.
Absolutely, it's perfect on the stage in the studio. But what you'll notice is most people are bringing the studio to the stage and the stage to the studio. People are recording, their gigs live. They're playing using backing tracks and things like that. But they're recording that stuff and then bringing it into the studio and really getting into the production side of things. So you could have it in both places, or you could just use one piece in both places, so it's super versatile, and it's kind of one of my favorite pieces, mostly because it's so compact, because space is at a premium. Now, this is not new. Some of the things I'm going to say now are not new, but they've kind of been outshined by a lot of other details. But when you start talking about the software integration with the hardware, that's really where the product kind of becomes like just amazing.
What all software comes with it?
Well, you get UC Surface, which is the control software. And what's interesting about UC Surface is it's the same application on anything you run it on. So let's say I want to control the RML with my iPad. It's UC Surface. If I want to plug in my Mac laptop, it's UC Surface. If I have a desktop PC and I plug it in, it's a UC Surface. It's the same software to control the mixer, which is really great. You also get Capture, which is seamlessly integrated recording software. So you've recorded like how many bands now?
Me?
Yeah.
None,
right? It was
yeah,
like zero? Okay,
zero.
so but you could press one button, right? You think you can handle that?
Oh yeah, easy.
So Capture's cool, it's integrated.
good.
You just launch it and it creates the amount of tracks that you have. It knows that you have an RM16 connected. So what's interesting is it'll make 16 tracks and you just go for it, right?
Awesome.
It also comes with a full production software, Studio One. So you get a bunch of really great stuff. So let's take a look at that actually. In UC Surface, this is a virtual view of what's happening inside of RM or RML.
lot.
A lot of things. Yeah, it shows you your fader, it shows you your DSP, but what's interesting about this is, like I was saying, it works across many different platforms. So I don't have to be, tethered to anything. In addition to something I failed to mention, we actually have the CS18, which is a control surface. So if you don't want to use a computer or an iPad to control it, you can actually get a mixing surface to control RML16 or RML32. Now, something that some folks know about and some folks don't is there's this new networking tab back here in UC, which is actually not that new. It's like 2 versions old, but some folks that don't know about it, which is it allows us to cascade the mixers.
Yeah.
So I could take an RM16 and an RM32, or 2 32s or 2 16s, and I can cascade them together to create one bigger mixer, which is really important because sometimes 16 inputs doesn't really give you everything you need. You might need 48, or you might need 64, or you might need, however many you may need, so you can combine the combination. Or say you have a 32 and I have a 16, and together we combine our forces for a much larger and more cool, powerful mixer, which is really interesting. And the way that happens is actually over the networking. So it's an AVB network. You plug everything together, and then bam, you designate a master unit, a slave unit, and then you have one big, large, cool.
Like Power Rangers.
It's very much like Power Rangers or Voltron or whatever era
Power
you
Rangers.
are from. So UC Surfaces is the way. It's kind of like the gatekeeper of, what is it doing, what's going on, how do I control it, and how do I make it cooler, and how do I stack the devices and stuff like that. Studio One, this is kind of one of the coolest things, is there's a direct integration with hardware and software. Now, a lot of people will say our hardware and software is integrated, and that's sort of true. This is the definition of hardware and software integration. Now, if you look here, you can see there's these fat channels up here.
Right.
And what a fat channel is the channel strip on each input and output of your mixer, right? So it's a gate and a compressor. It's dynamics, it's EQ, it's the strip. The blue one here is signifying we're looking at the processing on the box, the actual physical hardware. So I'm looking at that in Studio One in my mixer. So if I were to, let's say, open up, let's close some of this stuff and go grab my fat channel here. Bam. So I just opened a fat channel here, but you notice it's gray. So what that's signifying is there's one that's blue and there's one that's gray.
Okay.
The one that's blue is the processing that's happening on the box, and the one that's gray is the processing that's happening in the computer.
Okay.
Now there's a bunch of reasons why this is cool, but let me give you a couple of quick scenarios. One is I can use processing that's not taxing my computer. And 2 is if I'm overdubbing, so if you did a vocal pass and it wasn't as great as we thought it would be, and you want
Probably
to
would be the
punch,
case.
yeah. Well, you wanted to punch in one section. We can totally do that, but what's cool is we can take that fat channel that we use, like say I did some compression and EQ using this processing. I can take that and I can just drag it down here into Studio One, and it seamlessly creates the same processing inside of the session. So when we do a punch, it's a flawless transition.
Yeah, it's easy.
Which is, it's super easy. I mean, anyone can do that. And thank God it's easy. I wouldn't have any idea how it would function or how to use it. But in addition to the processing I can see on the box, or I can see within Studio One, you have this input control. So you have 48 volts phase, and you can see that says 0 dB here, and I can raise that. And what that is that's allowing me to adjust the input level. So why is this cool? Who cares? Well, we just so happen to have an application that controls Studio One. So what's cool is if I've got all this hooked up just like I do, and I'm in the booth and I'm engineering the session, I'm producing the session, I also happen to be the artist. I can be in the booth, I can set my level, I can change the level, I can apply some dynamics, I can put EQ on my voice, and I can start recording the session without having to leave where the vocal booth is to come in here to do all of that in the studio.
Just all on your iPad.
It's all wireless. So I was talking to Ryan the other day in sales, and he's like, man, I think I'm going to get this. The Studio 192 has the same features. It's integrated like the RML is into Studio One. He's going to use it so he can play drums. He can set all his levels at the drum set. Because all of his equipment's in another room in the house. But he can do all the things he needs to do at the drum set, and then start the recording and just be done with it. So that's the RML. There's a ton of other things. Something that I do want to mention about RML 16 is we are actually giving this away. We
Right.
need to tweet a hashtag. I don't know if we came up with a hashtag for this. Did we come up with a hashtag for this?
How about hashtag RML16?
That is fantastic. So what you'll want to do is
Tweet us.
Yeah.
Tweet us with the hashtag RML16 and include PreSonus in the tweet, and you'll be entered to win the RML16.
Now, do they need to also include a link to the webcast, or how does that work? Is it just, should we make people promote our webcast? Maybe.
yeah,
It'd be okay
yeah.
if you did that. You probably wanna
Include the
do that.
link. Include the link. and-
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so hashtag RML16. So we are giving one of these away, and we'll choose who the lucky winner is at the end of this webcast.
End of the webcast.
So we're going to take a break for a second so we can get set up for the ULT presentation. But while we do that, stand by. We're going to send you over to 2 different people. We're going to let you hang out with Jamal Batiste. They're going to play you a tune. And then you're going to get the most professional perspective that you can from Mr. Ray Tanzan.
Oof.
So stand by.
Beard.
We'll be right back. Yeah, the beard.
Hashtag.
We'll be right back. And thanks for that.
Hi, I'm Ray Tanzen, Product Manager at PreSonus. I was asked to give you my expert opinion on a few of our new products. I'm also supposed to try to keep it at about 5 minutes. So here we go. So let's start with the new RML mixers. As you can see, they look different, but they also have combo jacks on the last 8 inputs. This allows you to plug in line level inputs now. So if you have a preamp or a synthesizer or any other outboard gear that has line level outputs, you can plug it directly into your RML mixer. These new line inputs completely bypass the preamp, giving you a straight path to the converter. This is going to make your line input sound a little bit cleaner, and it also is great if you're plugging in mic preamps so you're not going through a second preamp stage. In addition to the hardware changes, we've done a few changes on the software suite that comes with the RML mixers too. With UC Surface, when you plug in a line input, it will automatically recognize the line input and change the preamp gain into a line gain. We've also done some really cool things with Studio One. You may not know this, but the RM mixers and RML mixers are an amazing studio interface for your computer. And now, with the latest version of Studio One's 3 software, you get complete control integration of the mixer from right within Studio One. You can control the preamps and the fat channel processing on the mixer from Studio One, and it's all saved with your Studio One session. So now you have a 32-channel audio interface as well as a live sound mixer. In addition to the RML mixers, we have the new ULT loudspeakers. We've got a few different models of the new ULT speakers. We have our 2 top two-ways that come in a 12-inch and a 15-inch. And we also have an 18-inch subwoofer. The horn will give you a really wide 110-degree dispersion with a narrow 50-degree dispersion on the vertical. So this means that you can fill a wide area without getting a lot of reflections from the ceiling and the floor. And it throws really far. So it's perfect for large rooms and outdoor spaces, and they get loud. They also have fly points, so you can install them. And they have some DSP settings on the back, so if you're using it as a floor wedge or you want to get a little extra bass boost out of them, you can change the preset setting on the rear panel. So with the ULT speakers and the new RML mixers, you can have an incredible live sound rig, and then just roll it into the studio. With the line inputs and integration with Studio One software, it's the perfect audio interface. And I think I got about 5 minutes out of that for you, so we should be good to send it back to the guys in the studio.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. There was something important that we were supposed to
We're
do.
talking about the giveaway.
Oh, the giveaway. What are we giving
We're giving away an RML 16 at the
Okay.
end of this webcast. To enter to win, all you have to do is tweet us with the hashtag RML16 and a link to this webcast.
Yes, we need to get viewership.
More people to watch this.
More people watching is, and then those
Who
people could
wouldn't wanna
enter
watch
for a
this?
chance to win. And
Let's be honest.
yeah, and then you win an RML 16, which is actually a 32-channel mixer, which is kind of interesting. 16
deal.
actual inputs, and then 16.
We talked
more
about it earlier.
Digital inputs. Yeah, if you didn't catch it,
Just
hit me
rewind.
up, and I'll be more than willing to talk about it.
He'll
I
talk about
obviously
it.
would like to talk about
He's
it.
got a lot to say.
So, Mr. Ray, a much brighter product manager
With the
than-
awesome beard.
Great beard on Mr. Ray. He went over the ULTs in his video as well. And what's interesting is he was talking about the DSP on the box, and I just wanted to point out a few things so people can actually see what it was Ray was talking about. So you have your line and mic line inputs. These are combo jacks, and we learned about combo jacks on our RMLs
Yeah.
today, which is really interesting, which is what makes it an RML. It's the line input combo jack. You have a direct output, so why you would have this is so I could kind of chain boxes. So if I wanted to send one signal to a bunch of boxes, I could just plug into the one and just go to the next one. But what's most interesting is what he was talking about was DSP. So you've got these little tunings. You have a front of house tuning, monitor, and DJ tuning. So what that means is front of house is on a stick, stage left and stage right. I'm the mixer, I'm way out here. That's the way I would set it up. The monitor is a different EQ setting, it's a different tuning for when you actually put the box on its side on the floor. It's like a floor wedge. It's the thing when you're doing rock and roll, you put your foot on top of it.
Oh, yeah.
So you can
Those
bring
things are so cool.
They're way cool. So you need to have it, but when you're doing your foot on the monitor, it needs to be in monitor mode.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's super important.
Need to know that.
Then there's the DJ mode, which it actually gives it a little bit lower end boost and kind of gives you the bump, I guess. Gives you a little bit more something. There's also a high pass filter, and there's this cool button that's like an unsung button. It's called the LED off, which means we can turn the LED on the front off. That bothers some folks. Like my father-in-law, there's a light on the TV. He hates that. He can't even look at the TV. He's like, I can't look at your TV. He's kind of a jerk. Anyway, you can turn that LED off. If you're in a house of worship or some sort of install where it would be distracting or you don't want the light, you can totally turn it off.
Your dad would love this.
He would love it. It would be perfect for the entertainment system. I'll see if I can't get that set up. So that's the ULT. We're going to do QA. So we're going to take some questions about RML 16, RML 32, and then any ULTs, which would be the 12, the 15, or the 18 sub. But before we do that, we're going to get you guys back over to the Jamal Batiste band. So stay tuned. We'll be right back and
Keep
check
those
out.
hashtags coming.
Yep, hashtag RML 16. And we'll be right back. The Jamal Batiste band.
Jam All Productions. This the one right here, you heard me? Let's go. Young Orthodox drummer.
Come on, Mom.
We gonna do this for everybody right here. Come on.
We want to let you know this isn't just a show. It's the
About to set this thing off like the West Side Ride.
We want to let you know this isn't just a show. It's the experience of a lifetime.
This is West Coast track with down south swag. And say don't know where you're from, and it really don't matter. I relieve on the seas like I got a weak bladder. And so cold on the mic that I make your teeth chatter. Drop the beat from the rhythm section to the drums. Harmony, lyrical injections is the sum of JAM-ALL. Stars we all we use, I get to set us far apart from the rest of the best. No contest, confess. Highly favored and blessed, so hold on, catch your breath. Careful and watch your step. Competent and not in F. You looking for a deeper level, then we got the depth. You're hungry for another entree, then I'm your chef. You need surgery performed, then we the doctors, yeah. We're an unstoppable force, me say immovable object. Failure's not an option, got it? Drop it, yeah.
We want to let you know this isn't just a show. It's the experience of a lifetime. We want to let you know this isn't just a show. It's the experience of a lifetime.
We're always creative, incomparable, understated. With critics that say we highly overrated, discussed and debated, overlooked and underestimated, but made it by waiting graciously with patience. We changed our situations, rock, pop, and hip hop tunes. We laced it with intricate jazz syncopations. Trials and tribulations are basic. Adversity we faced it when we stepped in and we set trends with our innovations. What we do when we move is a higher education. It's a new day as a new craze sweeps across the nation. What it took for us to get here was a lot of preparation, divine intervention, and a higher elevation. No procrastinating, no waiting, no hesitation. Can't nothing block our focus. It's tireless dedication. We're an unstoppable force. We say immovable object. Your failure's not an option. Got it? Drop it.
We want to let you know this isn't just a show. It's the experience of a lifetime. We want to let you know this isn't just a show. It's the experience of a lifetime.
Yeah. Aha. It's the experience. Jamal Productions. Angel.
So, a little QA. We're going to do some questions.
Before we do the QA,
Okay.
let's remind everyone about the Twitter contest going on right now. Tweet us with the hashtag RML16 with a link to this webcast, and you'll be entered to win. We'll
So
announce.
Still going while we're doing it. I didn't
Still
mean to
going.
interrupt,
We're
but
still.
going.
It's okay.
I'm so sorry.
We're still going. The contest is still going on. So
Okay.
keep those tweets coming, and then we'll draw a winner shortly.
And send us questions as we're taking questions. You please send in any questions that you may have. If we don't get to your question, hit us up at education@presonus.com. Before we
Hit
get
us
started
up.
with the questions, let's again a shout out to Ray for helping out, and Jamal Batiste and the Jamal Batiste band. They were amazing for doing
did
what
awesome.
they did, and we really, really do appreciate it. They're fantastic humans.
Fantastic.
Okay, so a little Q&A. So let's get
Let's
started.
do
I'm
some
just going to
Q&A.
try and say elegant answers.
I'm going to try to have elegant questions. Okay, so with the RML, is it good for recording drums?
Yeah, I mean, it will record anything, but what's cool about RML, I think if you're going to use it in a rig, a drum rig and a piano rig, it's fantastic for that. It's great. I see most of the bands that are touring with it are using it for an ears rig, which means it's their monitor, or it's like on the stage. It's like the stage mixer, and it's great for that. It's great for plugging in a bunch of keyboards into it. It's great for plugging in a bunch of drum microphones into it. It's versatile. You can use it for anything, but it would be fantastic for recording drums for sure.
Cool. Is it compatible with SoundGrid?
So it is not yet. We're always trying to look into being integrated with other third-party technologies, and with the AVB networking integration that we're doing, we're constantly building upon that. So yeah, we're looking into. I can't say anything, even if it were tomorrow. I couldn't say anything. But yes, we're always looking into integrate with other people's technologies because we want to work with everyone.
Right.
We want the experience to be good for whatever equipment that you're using.
Cool. Now this question's a doozy.
Okay, I'm going to listen clearly and closely.
If you connect the RML16 AI
Uh-huh.
with a CS18 AI
Okay.
by a Cat5 cable
Okay.
and the RML, is that connected to a computer by FireWire?
Okay. Okay. Is that the rest of the question?
No, I'm not done.
Okay.
Will the UC work on an iPad by Wi-Fi? Did you get all that?
Okay, I think the question is if I have the computer connected to the RML, and if I have the RML over Cat5 connected to the CS18, will I be able to connect wirelessly? And the answer is no. In the recommended setup, no. What you want to do is, what's cool is you can direct connect the CS18 to the RML, the 16 or the 18, or a couple of them cascaded. Okay, well, that's a different thing. But you can direct connect, and you don't have to have a router or a wireless access point or anything to do that. But if you want to use your iPad or anything wirelessly to control, like you can use a laptop to wirelessly control. You just get on the wireless network and control it that way. The recommended setup is to use a wireless router. Also, if you have one, because everybody actually usually has one, a lot of people have spare ones because, you know, you just the stuff that you accumulate, right? Wireless routers. I have a lot of them. Maybe I'm just that kind of person. But you can put that wireless router in the network setup. And that is how you would access you would use UC Surface to access the DSP in the RML. So you'd still have control surface or the CS18 controlling the box, but you would in addition have an iPad controlling it. And if you're direct connected, something to mention, if you're on the network or FireWire connected to the RML, you have control of it with the UC Surface on the computer as well. Just like we were talking about before, it's Mac, PC, Windows Touch Surface, and iOS, the iPad as well.
Okay.
That was a really long-winded answer. I hope that sort of cleared it up. I might have made it worse.
No.
I kind of want to add something to that. So when you cascade, just so you know, just so we have all networking questions answered, when you cascade the mixers, you will need an AVB switch in the mix. So what I recommend, if Uncle Justin was going to go out and do a show with two 32s, two RML 32s, or two RML 16s, or whatever the setup was, and a CS18, and I wanted wireless access, and I wanted to hook the computer up to it, I would have the following things. I would have an AVB switch, I'd have all the appropriate Cat5e or Cat6 cables to hook everything up, and I would have a wireless access point that has a built-in switch. This is something you can get at Walmart or Costco or Radio Shack. It's the all-in-one with antennas, you know, access point, plus it has like the little connections on the back. That's the built-in switch. You can hook everything up to that.
So wealth of knowledge.
That's the way you should do that.
All right, let's do, how many more questions? One or two?
Yeah, just give me one or two.
All right, this is fresh. Can you explain the 16 virtual channels? What does that mean?
Oh, yeah, that's a fantastic question.
Yeah.
I'm so glad somebody asked that because I feel like such a dork when I tell people about how
Thunder
it's
Creek
really
Band
cool.
asked that.
Thunder Creek's the man.
Thanks, Thunder Creek.
Okay, so the way that it works is you have 16 physical inputs on the RML 16 on the front, right? But you also have 16 FireWire returns. And for some people, like, well, I don't connect my computer to it, or I don't really record. But for some folks that do, what's interesting is more and more people in their live performances are using backing tracks. And this is previously recorded material, whether you did it in the studio or whether it's another artist and you're covering their song. A lot of house of worship use other people's music and they play their tunes. Sometimes to fill it up, to make it sound like the record, you may not have the Rhodes player, or you might not have a 60-piece orchestra. You could use those channels, those FireWire returns, those extra 16 channels, to make the performance even better. Like you have your band plugged into the first 16 channels on the stage, right? And then using Studio One or really any software that's Core Audio or ASIO compliant, you can use the FireWire streams, the last 16 channels, to bring in the choir, or bring in some piano, or bring in the string section, or bring in whatever you want to bring in. So, and what's cool is you have independent control over every one of those faders. So you have 64 faders to control. So it's the first, 32, sorry. You have the first 16 that controls the analog inputs, and then you have the second set of 16 that controls the virtual returns, the FireWire returns from the computer. One more, because I feel like I've been on a roll and answering
Where can we hear the ULT speakers?
That's a fantastic question. And what we want to do is if you want to listen to the ULT speakers, we want you to. So email me at education@presonus.com and I will personally figure out setting up a demo because whoever wants them is going to be in different regions. And they may not be in your region or we may have to figure out a way to get them to you, but we will do that. So again, hit us up at education@presonus.com and we will set up a demonstration at your local dealer via our reps that are in that area.
There you go. All right, how about the winner?
Did we pick a winner?
We did pick a winner. And the winner is, you ready for this?
Okay, so the winner of the brand new RML 16, which is quite the value, is
at LE_buns.
I'm sorry. Did you say
I
Buns?
said Buns.
LE_Buns.
At
You
Ellie
are.
_Buns.
So Jamal didn't win.
Jamal didn't
Sorry,
win.
Jamal,
Sorry,
you are
Jamal.
the best, but you didn't
killed it.
win on this one. But LeBuns, you are the winner. That is a great handle. My web
so
handle
glad he
sucks.
won.
That's a great one.
I'm so glad LeBuns won.
Okay, did we forget anything? So we talked about RML, we talked about ULT, we talked about the integrated bundled software.
Talked about Ray's beard.
Ray talked about, actually told people real facts that weren't made up.
Yeah.
And we had Jamal play.
Jamal
So
play.
what else?
We did Q&A, and we have a winner.
We have a winner. I think that's it. Thanks everyone for tuning in to
Thank you.
PreSonus Live. Keep checking on us. We've got a bunch of stuff planned for the next couple of weeks. So be checking back on our website at PreSonus.com. If you have any other questions about anything except life questions, because I don't know anything about that.
Yes, you did.
Hit us up at education@PreSonus.com. Thank you, Chad, for
Yeah.
doing this. I think we'll have you back.
Yeah.
Maybe
or
once or
tweet us or anything.
Yeah, hit us up on the Smedia. Is that what they say? The Schmedia?
Social
the
media.
social media. All right, thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate it. That is PreSonus Live.
Have a great day.
My name is Paul Meany from Mute Math, and a big thank you to everyone at PreSonus to help. It's really exciting for us to be able to do something on this scale at this point, but the technical challenge is a very compact tour that we're trying to do. We're staying very lean. We're bringing out minimal crew. We're doing these very small venues that really can't accommodate a lot of technical specs of what we're trying to do with our show. We're going to be not only playing new music, but covering our past 3 albums. So we're going to try to cram a lot in these little spaces. We obviously want the show to sound great. We won't have a monitor engineer with us. So we were looking to solve the issue of how to do monitors, not to put too much pressure on the guy who needs to make sure it's sounding good out front. You know, just hitting the checklist, great. The situation that is unfolding with PreSonus. So we're really excited about the solutions. I guess I'm gonna get a lesson in the actual flexibility that we're taking out. It seems on paper that this is pretty amazing. When you go into a tour like this, which there's a lot of X factors, and you pull up to venues that it changes drastically. And to have flexibility is just a huge weight lifted. So knowing that we're going into this and be able to present the same quality, getting to see what happens once we pull up to these places and we have to put it into practice, it's gonna be an exciting part of this tour for us. Anyone who sees that we're coming close and if you can make it out to a show, we're excited to share our new music with you. We're fashioning this new show that's going to be encompassing 4 albums, so we're really stoked about this. It's going to be an insane night of music, so please come out and thank you.
Let's make a monument for I love, I love, I love, I love. Every night is ours to own.
I am Jake Owen. I sing country music for a living. We've got quite a few toys out here now. One of the guys in the band or something during sound check, they'll play something. I'm like, man, that's really cool. And then we can come in this room and use our little setup here and then just kind of start messing with it and building upon things. We're able to use this room as the facilitator to our conversations and creativity. You just never know. But that's the exciting part about having this at our fingertips every day. Some days, like, I'll get on something, and whether it's in here or on the bus, and I get excited to finish the next line. When you can wake up pretty happy every day and do that, it's a lot easier to be creative.
And it's sunshine, blue eyes, tan lines, slow tide rolling, white sand, cocaine, koozie in my hand, just a summertime strolling, chilling, breezing, sipping, singing,
Well, thank you all. I'm Jake Owen. I appreciate you spending some time with me. But I want to thank PreSonus and everyone there for being so generous to not just myself, but every guy in my crew and band. With a setup like this in Studio One, anything's possible, and we're excited to see what happens.
Summer grass.